Should be a good day. Should be a good Thursday. We had Pam Bondi yesterday on a ridiculous, on Capitol Hill in the most ridiculous um, Wednesday that we've seen in a long time. But I expect today will be a good Thursday. Let me just take a moment and bring the live up on my screen here, and we'll start doing this. I apologize for being late today, my friends. I had I had to take my dad to a follow-up appointment. He had a cardiac procedure a week ago, and today was his follow-up. And I just walked in the house. Just moments. I'm actually plugging my phone in. I'm still kind of catching up to myself here. Um, I just walked in the house moments before I came on live with you guys. So I'm also only marginally prepared for our live today. My apologies for that as well. I should be better prepared. I think what we'll do is we'll kind of wing it today. We'll certainly talk a little bit about ICE leaving Minneapolis, or saying they're going to leave Minneapolis, that they're done there. We'll talk. I think we all need to process sociopath Pam Bondi's testimony yesterday before the House Judiciary Committee. So I think we'll cover that a little bit as well. Hang on one second. I just have a little bit of a problem bringing this up. Let me just try it again. There we go. And I can see there are some of you here right now. I can't see you yet, and I apologize for that. Hopefully, I see Suzette is here, and I see a few other folks are here as well. But for some reason, it takes lately. It's been taking Substack a little while after I go live to populate. I'm sure it's something I'm doing wrong. I'm sure it's something that I'm screwing up. But it's taking a little while for Substack to subsequently populate the chat. So again, my apologies for. I'll figure out what is going wrong, and I'll straighten that out in a bit. But Paul, Aaron, I see you guys. Thank you for being here. Again, everybody who I don't see, my apologies for the fact that I can't see you yet. But I am certain you'll pop up in the live in a moment or two. Before we get to the topics of the day, I just want to remind you guys that today I was supposed to have I don't know if I mentioned this on yesterday's live, but I don't know if everybody heard it. Today I was supposed to have my friend Jacob Ward join us. Jacob is a longtime seasoned journalist who I've only gotten to know over the last, say, 3 weeks. He's in the Chorus program with me. Some of you might follow him on the Rip Current. That's his Substack here. You might have seen him a week ago on Ali Velshi, on Ali Velshi's MS Now show. Jacob is a reporter who's been covering surveillance, the surveillance state. He's really he's a politics guy, but his expertise is tech. And he's really kind of gotten into the surveillance state stuff going on with ICE right now, and also the AI boom, or perhaps lack thereof. And I was hoping, Jason and I had planned to have him come on and join us today. But unfortunately, I had totally spaced that my dad's follow-up was today. So I had to reschedule Jason. We're going to probably do Monday or Tuesday of next week. So I apologize for not letting you guys know that. But please make sure you're with us tomorrow, because Eric Fudali, I'm just rechecking his name so I don't get it wrong. Eric will be with us tomorrow. Eric is a civil rights attorney, and he's representing some of the Epstein victims. And it's going to be, there's a lot with, there's so much news about the Epstein saga, the story, the cover-up, the madness that we know about. But some of the news that we're not always sort of following is, what's happening with the victims legally, what's happening with the victims in terms of depending on what is happening at any given moment with the Trump administration, for example, with those last that last tranche of documents that recently came out. The question there was like what they unredacted all the names of those victims. There were unfortunately nude images of some of the victims, and Eric might be able to give us some insight on how they're doing, how this is affecting them, and certainly I'm eager to speak to him about Pam Bondi's testimony yesterday, and where he and some of the Epstein victims are with that situation, because it was quite something to see. So definitely join. I won't be late tomorrow. Definitely join us tomorrow. Hopefully there won't be any rescheduling issues, on Eric's part, but as of now, everything is sort of set. I'm hoping to secure a couple of. These are a little iffy, but just letting you know what might be coming up. Hoping to secure a few, at least one interview. We'll see if it happens with some of the at least maybe one Democratic member of Congress talking about. I didn't even know this. The Democrats have an affordability platform, so our names have been submitted to those for to see if we could speak to any of them. Hopefully, we'll get one or two of them. Yeah, tomorrow. That's Eric is tomorrow, Lacey, at 11:15. So we'll be doing that, and not this Sunday, but Patty Ann is not here yet. But Patty Ann and my wife Ritu will be joining us not this Sunday, but next Sunday. We'll be doing that. Remember, we talked about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, about doing a wellness live, like an "Are You Okay" kind of live. We're going to do that together. Patty Ann is a mental health professional. My wife is a mental health professional. I just pretend to be one. I'm going to bring the real professionals in, and we're going to have a really, really great live. It'll be a weekend live. We don't have our time set yet, though, for sure. We're going to do a weekend live. Say hi to Granny for us, Tina. Hopefully she's doing okay. But tell her we wish her love and healing, and that we hope she's we're sending her our thoughts and healing and prayers and stuff. So we'll that'll not be this Sunday, but next Sunday, and eventually, what I'm hoping to do is, because I don't want to not have these. I don't want to fill the calendar with interviews, even though, I'm excited about them. I don't want to fill the calendar with interviews just yet, because I still want to do this. So we may have some adjustments to the live schedule in the coming weeks as I kind of figure out the flow of things, because I think the interviewing is so important. And I'm looking at maybe 2 lives a day, like an interview when I can do it, when the opportunity is there. An interview live, and a just me babbling incessantly live, or we'll figure it out. But as the interviews are going to kick up, also Monday night, 8 p.m. For those of you on TikTok. A group of us will be going live on TikTok. This won't be through my account. I'll let you guys know as we get closer, because I'm not sure which one of the influencers, but it's some of the influencers that I've gotten to know. We're going to kind of get together on TikTok, and it's just going to be a sort of informal chat about politics. And we've done a few of these not live, and they're pretty fucking entertaining. So I'll let you know who the influencer is that's going to be, which account we're going to be going from, and I'll let you know what exactly. As of now, it's tentatively scheduled for 8 o'clock, but I think it's going to be pretty fun because we've had some discussions. I have probably the most inappropriate potty mouth of the crew, but we'll it's going to be a good. It's going to be a really good conversation, and hopefully we'll do more and more of those. Last bit of news I want to show you is I got my nifty new hoodie. If any of you watched Bad Bunny and the performance at the Super Bowl, you might have noticed this guy here, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the back of my shirt here, or my hoodie. But basically, what that for those of you that don't speak Spanish, which includes me, that means fuck ice. And I was able to get this cool hoodie recently, and I will post. I don't have I don't have the. Unfortunately, I should have been more prepared for this, but I didn't know I was going to wear this hoodie today. I just threw it on when I got home. I don't have the website where you can buy your own fuck ice merch in both English and Spanish. But thank you, Lacey. I do too. It's pretty cool. But I'll get it for you if it's something that you guys are interested in. And the last and here is the Xenocracy. We haven't gotten there yet, but it's coming. I've been telling you about this for a while, but the Xenocracy merch shop is coming. I don't know when, because I got a lot of shit to do, but it's coming. Anyway, let's get to the news, guys. So earlier this morning, I saw a video on Blue Sky, and I don't have it with me. Because I had to take my dad to the doctor today, and I'm running around at the last minute, and I'm poorly prepared for today. I don't have the video available. But the video was immigration slob, I mean czar, Tom Hammond. And you honestly, guys, I wish I had it, because I need you to fucking watch it, because I don't call him the immigration slob for no reason. Like, let me see if I have it. I might have texted it to myself. If I did, I'll see if I can bring it up. Hang on. I hope I did. I didn't. I don't think I did it. Usually when I want to, no, when I want to, when I want to remember something, I will text it to myself, and then I could have just put it up here on the screen. But Hammond is. He was talking about that the surge in Minneapolis is over. That the ICE surge is done. That they're going to be pulling the ICE agents out, and they're going to be sending them to either wherever it is that they, wherever they house those animals, the ICE agents, they're going to put them in there, whatever base they house those maniacs on. Or they'll be sending them to other parts of the country to do more terrorizing. And it's good. It's good if it happens. We're not seeing nearly as many videos coming out on social media, although we see them still. We're not seeing as many videos coming out on social, although we see them still, of the ICE Gestapo engaging in abhorrent behavior. But that has slowed down, at least in terms of what we're seeing on social. And I think hi Tammy, how are you? I think it's a moment to appreciate a win. Now, it's a dark fucking win, right? Because two people had to be shot in cold blood that we know about, right? We don't know how many people have died in custody, because, how do you know at this point? We don't know. We know that at least hundreds of people have been roughed up. We know about a disabled young woman whose fucking window was broken, who was ripped out of her car and put face flat on the ground. We know about a guy who was put face flat on the ground and pepper sprayed in the face while he was face flat on the ground. So it's a very, very, very dark victory. And it's clearly a victory that is very well earned, because people had to fucking die to get it. But it's still something that those of us that are fortunate enough to still be in the fight and alive can say that we did it. We pushed the motherfuckers out. Now, did we do it as much here, on social? No, but we helped, right? Were we Status Coup, COUP, the sort of activist news outlet that has been on the ground recording nonstop videos and posting them all over social media, that, all over Minneapolis, St. Paul? We were not them, and thank God for them. We were not the citizens of Minnesota who have had to endure this fucking nightmare, who had the courage day in and day out to step outside their homes and pick up their phones and videotape the Gestapo destroying people. We are not the observers, right, who had to coordinate and drive around in our cars, blowing whistles, getting our cars rammed by ICE idiots. So we weren't them, and that's, we're not even Don Lemon, where we were, had the opportunity and the resources to go to Minneapolis and to cover the protest in the church and get arrested for it, right? So they did that, and thank God for their courage. I applaud them and honor them. Unarmed citizens standing up with the only weapon they had, which was a phone with a camera, of which one person got executed because he stood there with a camera, and another one executed because she sat in her car and tried to drive away from the animals, right? After she told them with a smile on her face, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Right? So they are the heroes of this story, of this win. But the reason I'm bringing it up, that it's a moment that we all need to celebrate Minnesota, its courage, its strength. I will never forget. Minnesota didn't mean much to me in my life, other than I've never been there, and I like to go because I'd like to see everywhere, right? Until now. But I'll never forget Minnesota as the state. I'll never forget Governor Walz and Mayor Fry and District Attorney, I can't think of his name. Is it Ellison? I think it's Ellison, isn't it? Please correct me if I have his name wrong. And, I won't. They'll always be in my memory as a backstop to autocracy. The city of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the state that stood the fuck up. Right? But that being said, I think it's important to understand, because we're always talking about during these lives, what the fuck can I do, and does it matter? What can I do? I feel, how many lives have we, all of us, back and forth, said to each other, oh, shit, I'm so frustrated, I'm so scared, I'm so angry. What can I do? What the hell can I fucking do, and will it matter? What will make that orange imbecile back down? How do I get through to these people who you cannot shame into decency? Right? We've had that conversation so many times, guys. Right? And it's a legitimate, concerning thing, and it's a sense of helplessness, but here is an example of what you did. You reposted videos of what happened on the streets of Minnesota, and that action led to today. We came on this live. There are 1,000 other lives like this, and we gave voice to the videos that we saw, right? We gave voice to the people who were under siege, and we stood with them. The entire country, virtually, and many physically, stood with Minnesota and Minneapolis. And that mattered. It made all of the difference. We talked to our family members. We talked to our friends. We stood up and we were intolerant, but we made sure, all of us together. Sorry, and I still have this fucking post-nasal drip, so it's hard to get on a soapbox and raise my voice without, snot. Hang on. Let's just get rid of that. Don't go away. All right, now I got a good couple of seconds till I get more of that. So we stood on a soapbox, and we together as a country, the pro-democracy community stood up. And here on social media, I've been saying for months now, this is where the war is. This is where the difference is. It's not legacy media. This is trickle-up digital economics. It's not that legacy media covers a story and it finds its way here. That does happen. But the reality is the polar opposite. We move it up the chain, and then legacy media catches on to it afterwards, right? And through social media, through your efforts in this space, the optics of the situation in Minnesota got so bad, that although you cannot shame the idiot in the White House, you can scare him, right? And he got scared, right? His poll numbers, my poll numbers have never been better. They're fantastic. He knows. And things got so bad for him. Do you know he's polling right now at 39% on fucking immigration? Yeah, of course, it should be 5%. It should be 10%. It should be no percent. But you know what? That was his strongest position. Jim Jordan said yesterday at the sociopath Pam Bondi's hearing, when he was trying to stick it to the Dems, he said something along the lines of, well, if you ask me, I think it was immigration that got President Trump elected. He was trying to hammer back at one of the Dems yesterday, and he's right. Thank you for sharing that with us, Jim, GYM, because that was before the 39% poll came out, Jim. That is his strongest thing. And he's underwater. Deeply, deeply, deeply underwater. Republicans are deeply, 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 deeply underwater on this issue. So there's two things that matter, in my opinion. We vote. We don't let those motherfuckers steal the vote. I don't care how many ICE, Gestapo, lard-ass slobs they put in front of mine or your or anybody else's polling station. We fucking stand up and vote, right, in the midterms. People have been standing up and voting all over the country since January 20th, and they have been beating Republicans over and over and over, and even by huge fucking numbers. And even when those Republicans win their seats, they underperform by 20 points, right? It's not an accident. So we vote. We make sure that everybody votes. We make sure we intimidate the intimidators by showing up in such large numbers to vote that the Gestapo agents, if they are positioned at our voting places, they don't dare consider going after this large group of people because there are so many of them. And we intimidate the village idiot Donald Trump because the worst nightmare that motherfucker will see is on election day, long, long lines in Democratic and Republican districts because they will vote the Republicans out of the House and out of the Senate. And I still think I'm the only naive one who is saying this. But I truly believe that we are in a position now where Democrats will not just win the Senate, but they could win a filibuster-proof majority. That they will not just win the House, but they'll win the House in significant numbers, and that there are going to be some surprises in deep red districts. Now, I know nobody else thinks this. It's only me. I know that. I truly know that. But I don't know, and that's because people don't want to be disappointed, and they want to stay hyper-focused on the data only. But I don't know. You look at the polling, and that shows the polling suggests, Democrats win the House and the Senate by slim majorities. And I get it. But then you look at the election results. Polling is polling is not election results, right? You look at the actual fucking election since January 20th, 2025, and the numbers are staggering. Democrats are winning staggering. And I know we don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to underperform. Democrats were so shy about, disappointing ourselves and pissing off the electorate. No. Start talking about the fact that we are going to win and win big. Because the data, which is the fucking elections, shows that. At least as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But we'll see. But so voting is your one power. Your second power is this space, not just Zenocracy, but this space. You see that it works. So double down, triple down on your social media efforts. With the videos that you post, that you repost on Blue Sky and Instagram and here on Substack, wherever you are, double down, triple down, quadruple down. Because they respond to it. The Trump administration responds to it. So we will get tired of winning. Here we go. Pat, thank you, Patty Ann. We need that. Let's do it. I got to find it.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
So there's that. Gail, I think that is a great point. This idea that they are planning. Look, we know the Republicans are planning to. We know Donald Trump and the village idiot Donald Trump and the minions in the House and the Senate are planning to do whatever they can to cheat on the elections. Trump just wants to outright cheat any way he can. Senator John Thune, the chicken shit GOP Senate Majority Leader, and of course Mike, MAGA Mike Johnson, they're going to try. They have to be more subtle about their willingness and their intent to cheat. But that's clearly there, right? We know from good lawyers like Mark Elias and the Democracy docket that he's fighting in 22 states right now, fighting the Trump administration to get the voter rolls, right? We know they want the voter rolls from every single state because we know that Pam the sociopath Bondi, in order to get ICE out of Minneapolis, she tried to make a deal with Governor Walz where if he turns over the voter rolls, she'll, the administration will pull ICE out. And he told her, politely told her to fuck off, right? Maybe he didn't even answer. I don't remember what his reaction was, right? So, and why do they want those voter rolls? Because those voter rolls give them all the information about every voter, social security numbers, name, address, district, who they voted for over the last, over their entire lifetimes, and run that through some AI programming bots and utilize that to figure out what vote you need to suppress. For example, what districts in Pennsylvania do you need to send your ICE Gestapo agents out to, right? Send the official militarized KKK dope squad. Where do you have to send them to on election day, and then make up some shit excuse to send those idiots out there, right? So, Gail, that is a thing, and you're right on that too. The Georgia raid, Elias was freaked out. I'd argue that he was angry. More concerned, but I didn't get the sense in the briefing that we had with him that he was particularly scared. Sorry, guys, hang on. Alexa, stop. Alexa's reminding me that I have to pay the phone bill today. I have that every day at every 12th of the month. She reminds me to pay the phone bill because it's due on the 14th. So you're absolutely right, Gail. Elias was concerned, but motivated strongly. So it's a fair point. So they intend to cheat, but I want you to remember the first effort to cheat was the redistricting debacle in Texas, right? So the idiot got the Texas legislature, Governor Abbott and the Texas legislature to vote for that non-census year redistricting to try to get the Republicans 5 more seats, right? Backfired in 2 ways. One, it lit a fire under the asses of first of Gavin Newsom. Then you had Maryland. Then you had New York. Potentially now you might have New Jersey. I'm sure Mikey Sherrill here is ready to go with redistricting if it's necessary. And sure, you had Florida, but then I'm pretty sure DeSantis backed off to a certain extent. We're looking at Missouri with the Republican craziness. But if we have the Republican, because Democrats stood up, and Gavin Newsom didn't just win in the court of public opinion when he announced redistricting in California. He fucking won at the ballot box, right? By a significant margin, Californians passed the redistricting plan, offsetting and then some all the bullshit that went off in Texas, right? So they lost on that. It's not going to go anywhere. They can't win that redistricting war because, again, we have Maryland's a little iffy because the Senate Majority Leader in the state house in Maryland, but I think even he will, I think he'll come around if he needs to. And again, we've got here in New Jersey, you've got New York. I mean, there's no. These are huge states with lots of districts. If they want to go to war, we'll go to war. So we see what happened in Minnesota, right? In a different issue with the administration backing off. So we've seen that there are different ways to force them to back down. So I think when it comes, and the other thing about Texas, the other problem that they're having in Texas right now with the redistricting is the way they did this redistricting. Some of those 5 districts require. How do I phrase this? The strategy was that the Trump-loving Latinos would continue to vote and to support the village idiot Donald Trump and Republicans, and that is not the case. He's down. What's he polling at 28% or something across the board with Latinos in the country. And that's an average, a statewide average as well, something like that. I don't have the exact numbers, so fact check me on it. I remember it was something like that a few weeks ago. I can't imagine it's gotten any better. So the idea that those Latinos in Texas are going to firmly stand behind Donald Trump and the Republicans in November is laughable. So, so I think even with these efforts to use the voter rolls to try to manipulate the election, or even if the village idiot goes with the nuclear option, which is, he's going to find some excuse, create some way to declare a state of emergency, and say we're not going to have the elections. There's not going to be any election. We have to keep everybody. I'm far less worried about that. So I'm concerned, and but I think the politics of good are winning right now, and it's causing them to react consistently. I hope. I hope I'm not wrong about this. Anyway, let's just get to some of the news since I've been babbling for the last 12 minutes. Speaking at a news conference in the city, border czar Tom Homan said coordination with local law enforcement and successive immigration enforcement have contributed to the end of Operation Metro Surge. Now, you haven't had cooperation from, it's not like Mayor Fry and Governor Walz suddenly said, oh, okay, Tom, now that the immigration slob, czar, is working with us, and it's not Dingbat Bovino, the little Nazi guy, the little Napoleon Nazi, we're suddenly going to work with you guys. I'm sure that the chief of police, who weeks ago said that any of my officers that help ICE go after innocent citizens and innocent non-citizens will be fired. It's not like he suddenly said, oh, ICE, come, let's embrace each other and let's start working together. Mi amigos, let's do it. No, none of that fucking happened. Haman is lying. I listened to that slob earlier today when I heard, we're going to be pulling back. I still have too much postnasal drip from the cold to do Haman without scratching my throat, but I'm going to try my best for entertainment purposes. We're going to stop and we're going to pull back on because we've gotten this really great support from the local officials now. We're going to start pulling back Operation Metro Surge. They've been so helpful. Stop it, Tom. What's wrong with you? Fuck off. That didn't happen. Look, I know Irish Aggie spitting all over my microphone. Maybe that was too much, Aggie. I get it. But, did you see him? Am I wrong? Let me show you guys. Let me see if I can find that clip of Haman. You got to see it. I think he was drunk, right? It's like, and I'll tell yes, and I'll walk away with a bag of money. Let me just show you guys. Let me see if I can find it for you. I seriously think he might have been drunk. Where is he? Let me see if I can find a video of him. What is this? This is YouTube. I don't know what YouTube.
Factor Meals deliver pro-level nutrition.
I just have to go through the commercial first.
With chef-crafted
zero tolerance for misconduct. President Trump also deployed me here to work with state and local officials to de-escalate the intense, volatile reactions and conflicts that have unfolded on the streets
this is it.
Between federal law enforcement and unlawful agitators. While working to course correct and improve how enforcement operations are being run and executed here, and even before I was sent up here, I've been saying over and over that forcibly assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, or interfering with a federal law enforcement officer is a crime.
Oh, wait. Is this today's?
In violation
I don't
of
think
USC
this is. Hang on. Let me see. Wait, hang on. Maybe it is.
Grip.
Let's just try this. I'm not.
Precision. That's the essence
I'm
of
not
driving.
sure if I had the right YouTube.
We hear you. Call, text, or chat 988.
From Fox,
free, confidential, 24/7.
Oh, here he comes. Here comes the slob. He's a big pig, and I don't like insulting animals. Like he looks
Good
like a
morning.
cartoon character, doesn't he?
I'm Tom Homan, Board of Czar President Trump. I'm going to read a statement real quick. Then after I read the statement, I'll take questions. I'm here.
Board of Czar President Trump. I'm going to read a statement. And after I read the statement, I'll take questions.
Sam Molson, Director of ICE and Enforcement Mover Operations for the St. Paul Field Office. Stephen Schrenk, Acting Special Agent in charge for ICE Homeland Security Investigations. And Chris Kuhn, Deputy Chief Patrol Agent for the United States Border Patrol. I'm very pleased to report that this search operation and our work here with state and local officials to improve coordination and achieve mutual goals, as well as our efforts to address issues of concern here on the ground, have yielded the successful results we have came here for.
So they've resulted the successful results we have came here for. Somehow magically, right? After months of shit, fucking murders, chaos, Kristi Noem saying, we will not get rid of we will not get our people out. We will not get our people out. Or whatever she was. After all that, it couldn't be. Somehow magically, everything's good. They got them all. They got all the dangerous. They got all the dangerous criminals. They got them all, right? In just a the slob came there. What was it? A couple days ago? A week ago? Not even. And it's all fixed. Congratulations.
The Twin Cities and Minnesota in general are and will continue to be much safer for the communities here because of what we have accomplished under President Trump's leadership.
And then they were under such. Remember, I want you to remember. I'm going to be fact checking him through all that. I didn't think I was going to do this, but who knew? They came there. They surged into Minneapolis. They did not say they were coming into Minneapolis to get rid of. They didn't lie, the usual lie. They didn't say they were coming into Minneapolis to get rid of the criminals, the worst of the worst, the violent criminals. That was the bullshit they told. This was about the Somalis, right? They came there to break up the massive Somali fraud ring and to remove all those Somali criminals, not the least of whom was Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. They were coming after the Somalis, right? Isn't that what every Republican with the village we're coming? They got the Somali. I'm telling you, I don't want them. They're terrible people. They come from it's not even a country. I don't even think it's warlords, it's animals. And now they're here, and it might not be politically correct, but frankly, I don't want them. Get rid of it. They're all criminals. That's why they came here. Do you hear any Republicans, my friends? Tell me, please, and fact check me in real time because I don't hear everything. But have you heard any Republicans in the last week talk about a Somali? I heard a little bit during Pam Bondi's dingbat hearing yesterday, where one of the Republicans talked about the fact that Pam Bondi is going to be tackling fraud all around the country, not just in Minnesota, but they didn't mention one Somali. Not one. But isn't that why there were 3,000 ICE officers, agents, I wouldn't even call them Gestapo agents in Minneapolis, right? 3,000 of them to get rid of those Somalis. And according to Tom Homan, everybody's safer now. They got those violent criminals. But what about the fraud that you went there to clean up, Tom?
I previously shared with you before I got here. Before I even got here, I met with, I said I was going to meet with the governor, the AG, and the Mayor Fry, Mayor Herr, and I've done all of that. I've also met with various police chiefs and sheriffs. And one thing we all had in common was the importance of ensuring and maintaining public safety. Overall, we made a lot of progress through extensive engagement, meeting with them and other key stakeholders. And it is expected that those engagements and discussions will continue going forward in order to enhance exchange of information, and more coordination. As a result of this surge operation, we have greatly reduced the number of targets for enforcement action. And many criminal aliens have been arrested and taken off the streets, including murderers, sex offenders, national security threats, gang members, and other violent criminals. Just this week, ICE arrested a criminal alien with criminal convictions for rape, acts with a child under 14 years of age with force, lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14.
Now, this is just my personal opinion. I don't believe him. Now, I might be wrong. But whenever they come out and they tell us we arrested a rapist, and they went, somebody who was a sex predator who went after so-and-so, I think there's a certain amount of projection in that because the pedophile, sex predator is the jackass, the orange piece of shit in the White House who was one of Jeffrey Epstein's, partners in crime to a certain extent, at least at minimum to a limited extent. But they lie so much and so consistently that when they tell us that they have arrested, that it just always has to be a rapist, murderer, sexual predator, I have no reason to believe them. None. I would need to see the arrest warrant. I would need to see the rap sheet for the person who was arrested. And I would need to see it from local police. I would not need to see it from this idiot. I would need to see what the person's actual immigration status is. But because I don't believe, I don't believe any actual thing they say. Just saying. Especially since they only speak in generalizations. We arrested him as a sex predator.
ICE also arrested 2 criminal aliens with criminal sexual misconduct convictions, among other violent criminals. Through targeted enforcement operations based on reasonable suspicion and prioritizing safety and security, ICE will continue to identify, arrest, and remove illegal aliens that pose a risk to public safety, like we've done for years. And our officers will carry out those duties with professionalism, integrity, and compassion, like we've done for years. We will enforce the immigration law against all persons in the United States illegally.
Anyway, I don't think we need to sit through the rest of the. I mean, the commercial might have come on at a good time. We don't think we need to sit through any more of Hammond's speech. I think I think the important takeaway, at least from so Lacey, don't trust him. If they cared about the law, they wouldn't be covering up for pedophiles. Yeah, the law is irrelevant. There is no rule of law in the federal government at this point. I think the most meaningful takeaway, as I said earlier, of this whole thing is that we're not helpless. We can get the Trump administration to back down. We can stop them, from there is, it's not, you can't shame them, and you can't try to appeal to their sense of humanity, their common sense, or their sense of decency, because none of those things exist. But they respond to, the idiot responds to economics when he thinks he looks bad to people economically, when he because he his whole image is that he's a money man, right? He's a successful businessman, he's a money man, he's a money genius. So when he starts looking bad in terms of the economy, he backs down, right? When the optics of his most abhorrent behaviors affect his poll numbers, which is for him his ego, affects when a lot of people don't like him. When the vast majority of the American people stop liking him, he backs down. And I think we have to, continue to, push those buttons on the village idiot in every area. And when as the village idiot continues to break, Republicans are going to continue to break. Let's just go see the Republicans. There was very little news about this because there was so much more news about everything else going on. But it's easy. I wouldn't blame you if you missed the fact that Mike Johnson was trying to push a rule through Congress that would prohibit members of the House to move any sort of legislation that would interfere with the village idiot's tariff scheme. That rule failed because a very small handful of Republicans left and joined Democrats to vote it down. Now there is. I'm going to let's just check and see where we are. Now and we'll just read the because I haven't been following the story closely, but we'll kind of catch ourselves up on it right now. Now it looks like the House votes to disapprove of Trump's Canada tariffs. Well, let me just not talk. Let me just read it to you because I'm going to inform myself as well. I lost track of the story during the Pondy hearings yesterday. The House on Wednesday voted to block President Trump's tariffs on Canada, with 6 Republicans joining Democrats in the symbolic rebuke. The resolution to disapprove of the national emergency Trump declared to raise tariffs on Canada was approved 219 to 211. So there was a resolution that would disapprove of the village idiot's national emergency, and that's the excuse that he used to break the law and raise the tariffs, because otherwise he could only raise tariffs with approval of Congress, right? But the idiot, it's a national emergency. We're getting screwed by every other country. It's an emergency. And that's where we've been with that situation for months now. And we're still waiting on the Supreme. I don't know why the fuck we're still waiting on it, why the Supreme Court has not come down with a ruling on this yet. But we're still waiting on the Supreme Court's ruling on whether or not his tariffs are legal or not. And the Supreme Court, many of the Supreme Court justices on both sides of the aisle seemed to be sympathetic to the argument that what he's doing is illegal. So I don't know why it's taking so long to get the fucking decision on that. But so he may lose. He's probably going to lose in the Supreme Court. There was this symbolic resolution that says that the House of Representatives disapproves, and you had 6 Republicans join the Democrats: Kevin Keeley of California, Massey, of course, Don Bacon of Nebraska, Brian Fitzpatrick of PA, Jeff Hurd, Dan Newhouse, and Jeff Golden. I don't know who they are. Then, quote, any Republicans in the House or the Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences come election time, and that includes primaries, the idiot wrote. Tariffs have given us great national security because the mere mention of the word has countries agreeing to our strongest wishes. Tariffs have given us economic and national security, and no Republican should be responsible for destroying this privilege. So, but the reason I wanted to bring this to your attention, even though it's a symbolic gesture, is that the administration, when the administration gets weaker, when the village idiot gets weaker, right? Republicans, chicken shit GOP members of the House and Senate start to find their courage only when they don't need it. These are cowards that are not going to be effective. These are not people you want in a foxhole with you, whether it be a political one or a military one. These are feckless cowards that are afraid of Donald Trump. But they find their courage, some of them. They can just sniff out a little bit of courage from time to time, right? When Trump gets weaker. So, Lacey, we all need to be as brave as the people of Minnesota, at least on social media, and talking to people, going to protests if we're able. Exactly. Because it matters. Because you have power. And on that note, I'm going to wrap the live for today because I've got a daily briefing in just a few moments. Guys, I'm going to start also, don't feel any pressure at all, but I'm going to start a strategy of trying to build, it was taking a couple weeks because I'm working on an overall strategy to build myself on social media across the board. You're probably seeing me on TikTok, more on Instagram, now on Facebook. And this community is kind of going to be, Xenocracy is kind of going to be this is the sort of the central hub of all of this stuff. So I'm going to be starting to build this community over time. And one of the things that I've learned is important is just to, because there's folks that come on here, all the time. You get one or two folks because we're still small that are introducing themselves, coming into the community. So it's important to. I realize now it's important to start mentioning at the lives. If you're not a subscriber to Xenocracy, please become one. Please subscribe. And if you can afford right now, if it's possible to become a paid subscriber, please do it. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. But if it's something, it's going to continue to help me do this work and to grow. But most importantly is to join the community, subscribe to the community and become a part of it. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate those of you who have been here, forever, because I don't know how the hell I would function without this, this community. It's my political sanity is in this space right here. So I thank you guys. I love you guys. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, one live at a time. We're getting there. I know it doesn't seem it, but we're getting there, guys. And chunking through it is how we survive it. Who the fuck would have thought we would have made it this long? Who the fuck would have thought, 3 months ago that the immigration slob would be the guy in Minnesota announcing the withdrawal, right? Who the fuck would have thought you'd get 6 Republicans siding with Democrats to vote against the tariffs on Canada, right? Who the fuck would have thought Pam Bondi a year ago, well, probably a lot of you, I didn't, but could have been this bad and this much of an albatross around the neck of an already, disgusting administration, right? So we're winning. And let's leave it with that.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
I love you guys. I'll see you. Don't forget to join me tomorrow for one of the lawyers representing the Epstein victims. I think it's going to be a good interview. See you guys at 11:15 tomorrow. Be well.